Are you trying to get your shift together?
Welcome to the Shift Sisters podcast, where real conversations inspire real transformations. We're not experts, but we're experiencers. I'm Sandra.
And I'm Jennifer Richter.
We're your Shift Sisters.
Whether you're shifting like a sloth or it looks like you're having an exorcism, this is your space to breathe, reflect, and remember. We're here to talk shift with you. Welcome back, Shifties. We are here with the Health Shift series, and we're talking about being grounded in health. I am your host, Jennifer Richter, and our poetic shifter, Sandra, co-host here that leads us on so many amazing journeys. We are super honored to have today Ashton Richter, my youngest son, and he's 18 years old. He is super inspiring. He lives very much with intention because he is health curious.
Yes.
From a super young age, he has always been health curious and a lover of food. So he's been pairing the two the older he's gotten. He lives with intention for anything he eats and the physical things that he does. And we're going to learn about that today.
I'm really excited to get into it.
Well, I mean, think about this. Have you ever asked yourself, like, what were your health goals at 18?
Yeah.
I think mine was about getting like a chili cheese dog and a Slurpee. I was like, is it 2 for one day?
Yes.
I don't even know if I knew the word health.
Girl, my mother was making my appointments. Like I didn't take care of anything. I was just like, oh, I'm supposed to go to the dentist and to the doctor now and do all of these things. Really?
Yeah.
So really
So
fascinated.
this is such an eye opener, even for me. Yes, he's my son, but we spend time together, we talk, and he blows my mind all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I love the way he thinks and the thought-provoking questions that he asks me.
100%. Listen, I've had conversations with Ashton too, and I'm like humbled. I just sit there and I just kind of shut my mouth and I'm like, wow, I just need to see like the direction that he goes, the questions that he asks, the thoughtfulness that is in everything that he does. And it's not just like he backs it up, with information and things that he's read or seen or it's so fascinating. I could sit with him for days and just talk and never be bored.
Well, I'm so glad that you have a fantastic experience and appreciate that because, it could be a little overwhelming for some people, like
Yeah.
drinking from a fire hose. He hangs
Yes.
out with his 86-year-old great grandmother, and I love that he sees no limitations and he
Yeah.
still gives inspiring information for
Yes.
her to live her best life. And
I'm ready to get the inspiration, girl. Let's get it on. Oh my God. I could talk to Ashton about life, really. And I mean, when we had that time together on Christmas and you were just sharing all the things, I'm like, okay, tell me more. Tell me more. I need to know more. So it's just interesting because that's been the topic of conversation. We've been talking about health and health resets. And I think, sharing some of the things that, I've done or Jennifer has done in our journeys that are different than what you find in traditional or holistic ways to kind of support yourself, right? And in this whole thought of health. So yes, so I'm really excited to speak with you today, Ashton, and just get your like perspective on things, right? And one of the like basic questions or first questions that I have is what does health mean to you? Like what does that encompass for you? And they could be kind of general things or more specific things, but when you think about that word, what is it
Well, health is about being healthy, right? Like
Mhm.
feeling good in your own body. And that's very not not everybody even comprehends that. They don't even feel that way in themselves or even grasp that they can feel that way, which is
Mhm.
really sad to be honest. And I feel very empathetic towards those people because I get, when you're dealing with some health stuff, you could feel trapped, but you have to be able to overcome it in your mind so your body can overcome it in the physical.
So the
But yeah, just
mind.
feeling healthy.
yeah, I think it's interesting too because people, like you said, don't always recognize what it feels like to feel good in your body.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think, I love that you mentioned kind of the mental piece of it, because I was just sharing that my mom wasn't feeling so great recently and she had like some digestive issues. And we took the traditional route. We got a few scans done and they were all normal and clear. And I think that, like, the fact that she was okay and she didn't have to worry any longer made
Mhm.
her feel 10 times better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like that mental physical connection piece, I think, is so important. And, you know, people say that you can kind of like will yourself to health. That's a very interesting thing. So, so yeah. So any other thoughts about that, Ashton?
I think it's actually a really big, important, and missing piece, a part of the medical system, is
Mhm.
they kind of they don't educate you well enough on the fact that your mental state will also provide your literal form. Like you can increase your inflammation and stress and all of these markers or that you'll even test for. But if they don't help coerce you to becoming mentally healthier, how
Mm.
do you get physically healthier? And when they do scans and stuff and they leave you with like short answers and they do a very good job at accidentally fear mongering you, which creates bigger problems, which pushes you down a worse path.
Is there anything though that you would recommend for someone that is kind of stuck currently, right, in the medical system, meaning that they only go to a traditional doctor because that's what their insurance covers and they feel like they can't seek any alternative health? Like, how would you recommend someone start to support their mental health when it comes to getting these short answers from a doctor and a lack of hope, really?
Most non-traditional doctors, and I can't speak for everyone, but
Mhm.
they're really like natural focus. So they'll look at vitamins and your
Mm.
deficiency levels, and those can play a big part in it. But also taking some time to be in your body and accepting what has happened and being able to work through it is important. Like you have to accept the circumstances, but you don't have to settle for those. You don't have to
Mm.
live with that forever, but you can't leave the present. The present moment is all you have. So maybe like meditation and
Mm.
just and everybody who doesn't know anything about meditation gets a blockage about the fact that, "Whoa, meditation, I'm not a monk." Well, monks dedicate their life to this,
Mhm.
but meditation is something you should do frequently and you don't have to do it for a very long time. Like 5, 10, 15, however long, however many minutes, not 20 years in 30 days of silence, but just sitting in your body, like feeling any feeling you have to feel. And you have to get past that and being okay with it and imagining the light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you can't allow yourself to see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're going to be stuck in just an empty, dark void. But
Mm.
you are the creator of your path, of your present. And not saying that everything that happens to you is your fault, but
But yeah,
Mhm.
but you can help change the trajectory. Sandra always had some great tips, Ashton. I'm not sure if you've ever heard it, but she mentions quite a bit that when she does a meditation, she's not looking to go into nothingness or silence. She actually will pick a scene for herself that's peaceful. So, say if it's sitting on a beach or walking through the redwood forest or sitting next to her grandmother knitting, like whatever brings her peace, she takes a vision and actually starts with that to create a scene and then go from there. Have you ever tried that?
I have done that, but I think that's just one of the many forms of meditation.
Yeah.
If you, it's depending what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be calm, if you're trying to relax your nervous system, or maybe you're trying to take a break from the world for a moment, take a break from your thinking. So you
Mhm.
want to be in a moment of just feeling or in a moment of just breathing and observing. I think it's important probably to do all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I'm not more of the mental meditation. I'm a meditation and movement type of person, but all of the breath work that we have linked to like what type of shifter you are, it gives you a breath work practice to pair with it. Those YouTube channels are great for breath work. And for me, breath work gets me into that meditation space.
Mhm.
So if you
Breath
haven't
work
tried it,
is definitely different for everybody.
it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I used to listen to different meditations for, uh, medical or just like well-being. So thinking about, focusing on certain areas or envisioning myself in perfect health or, if there's something that's ailing me, like giving it some like attention and care in my meditative thoughts. Ashton, have you ever done, when you think about meditation to help with, let's say, a medical issue or other issue, is there anything that you would recommend, when you say like look into, going into the light instead of the darkness? Do you have those types of visualizations as well about whatever part it is that's ailing you?
Yes, but not so much in just a meditation standpoint, but more in like a meditation living standpoint. You have a frequency at all times. So when you go into a meditation and you project this, that's great that you're feeling healthy and your body's going to start accustoming to that feeling and frequency.
Mhm.
But living in a state where you feel healthy or at least you try to feel healthy in your mind or making decisions and trying to keep your frequency high, it's more of like an ongoing process than it is, let me do this for 10 minutes and come back to it 23 hours later.
Mhm.
So it's a mind shift essentially, right? Like I'm eating this
It is.
because I'm healthy. I'm eating this for nourishment because it makes me feel good. Like you're being intentional and mindful mentally through all of your choices.
Most people are stuck in feeling like they deserve everything that's happened to them and that there's nothing like that they have to work harder to get whatever outcome that they're looking for.
Mhm.
But in reality, it's not that it's not like that. Like the universe allows you to have whatever you want. So you just have to shift your frequency with every thought. And I was hearing the other day, like the first thought is not your fault, right? Because that's frequently impulse. But the second thought is up to you. So
Mm.
choose wisely, pretty much. Like if you have that negative thought and you're like, oh, that felt terrible, that I'm just repeating the same loop for the 60th time this year. But you look at it and you choose a different thought. And every time that thought comes back, you try to choose a different thought. Your frequency will change, your mind will change, and eventually your body could change.
It's
Oh,
almost like when you're making pancakes. The first one doesn't always turn out well. You just throw that shit out and start over.
you and your analogies, girl. Ashton, thank you so much for saying that. I needed to actually hear that because I have a negative thought and then I'm punishing myself,
Mm.
right? And I'm like, I punish myself by increasing that thought, by
hmm
turning the volume up, by highlighting it and magnifying it because it came from me as opposed
Mhm.
to, that first pancake didn't come out well and now I'm going to do another one. And I think that that's such an important message to share because it's I think people just are just they're just so hard on themselves. And I do that. I do that often where it's like I'm having this thought and I have to punish myself for whatever reason. So that's such a that was such a strong message there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have definitely felt those same exact things many, many, many times in a
Mhm.
row. But eventually you have to play on your own team. But
Mm.
we're all so programmed in society to work,
Mhm.
like work to achieve your retirement, work to achieve financial freedom. But it doesn't work like that. Like you can't force the universe. Like you can put in action, but it all is a part of the process and the timing. And you have to flow with it. And flowing with your thoughts too is hard at first, but you slowly develop that. Like you get angry at yourself, so you try to force a different outcome in your own mind. Like you're like, why are you thinking that? That's absurd. But what would you rather be thinking?
Mm.
Is so I
Mhm.
I really like the guy on YouTube. His name is Brian Withers. He's an
Mhm.
empowerment coach, but he talks about things just like this. Is you need to reframe that negative thought into what you would prefer to be thinking.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't get mad at yourself because truly that first thought probably wasn't even your conscious fault. It was like
Mm.
some conscious programming that came out from the depths of the 95%.
Yeah. It's
What
like
are
Yeah.
you to do?
anything, right? Your first draft doesn't mean it's your final draft, and you can definitely edit it. Do you have anything about your personal health journey and any moments that maybe inspired you towards, shifting your mindset like this to overcome some negative thinking into wellness that you could share?
Um, I have dealt with some physical medical issues that I just couldn't find help with medically. Like anything they do, they didn't find anything.
Mhm.
They couldn't come up with an answer. They didn't give me an actual root cause problem.
Mhm.
And and it started with physical problems and then it became like not blood, but lymph problems. And they don't test like specific freaking whatever's going on that's causing this. Because
Mhm.
we're not like an alien species with amazing technology.
Mm.
Dang it.
And yeah, for real. But I realized that I cannot continue to rely on everybody else because it's just making me worse.
Yeah.
And I have to, and like I said earlier, I had to be on my own team. And it really starts with allowing yourself to heal in a way. It is, but when you think those thoughts, sometimes the negative thoughts try to pull you back down and allow and keep you drowning, similar to
Mhm.
how you get angry when you think a certain thought.
Mhm.
The negativity, it's like Satan as a metaphor. Like he's gonna keep you down in the depths of this negative loophole until you realize that cage was never there to begin with. Like you placed yourself in that box. Beginning of health, I guess, is a is getting out of that box
Yeah,
mentally.
and a lot of us, I think, our first instinct is to go to the medical industry, right? Because that's supposed to be their specialty. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be professionals in that. And it's really a guessing game. They're humans as well. They run a lot of tests to tell you to rule out a lot of things that aren't happening, but it's also like a roulette game of the type of doctor you get. Do they have a good bedside manner? Do they think outside the box? Do they want to do additional research? Do they want to spend a lot of quality time with their patients? And that's really hard to find. And I feel like some functional medicine physicians provide that, but it's still guessing game, right? So,
Yeah.
like you said, you have to play on your own team. You have to know yourself. We did an episode about beyond symptoms and how to even know your body and look at clues to get more insight as to what's going on. Some of the health challenges that you were dealing with, Ashton, luckily enough, turned out to not be anything life threatening. But what did that shift in you mentally going forward in how you approached your wellness?
I realized that there's a classification for many people, and it's basically the worriers, people who worry and
Right.
they find a issue, disease, ailment, name for every symptom, for everything they may have gone through. And
Okay.
there's actual names for that that goes back hundreds of years. I believe hundreds of years because medicine's been around for a long time. And I think it's important to understand when your body is like a machine that it does its damn best at doing all the tiny, the big, the medium, the small, the large, all of the things. It's all relatively important on every scale. And sometimes you're not going to feel perfectly. Sometimes you might have a pain. Listening to yourself is also important. Like,
Mm.
do I feel like, because your body will tell you seriously. And if you just feel it for a moment, am I going to die? Or is this just a pain that I could survive? Like, not that you should deal with your pains and just survive, but not everything is gonna stick around forever. So sometimes you have a pain in your arm, and maybe that pain in your arm was caused by drinking too much caffeine,
Mm.
and that caffeine has to wear through your body. And go eat some bread or something. Make the caffeine harder to like
Yeah.
methylate or whatever. And instead of being like searching on Google or AI and getting shoot, bro, that 30 minutes outside in the sun might have caused quadruple degree skin cancer that developed into your ligaments. And it's not always that serious, like the
No.
symptoms and stuff that they give you, but like the sun helps a lot. Sit in some grass, enjoy the sun, and drink your water and eat your whole foods
Hmm.
and allow yourself to be taken care of.
Why is that important? Allow yourself to be taken care of, because that you typically don't hear that for like medical advice or health advice, right? It's always something else and take your meds and do all of this. So allow yourself to be taken care of. What does that mean for you?
Our society is shaped by a lot of like it's almost like dogma,
Hmm.
but it goes back far beyond any of us. And we live in a world balanced by the anima and the animus, right? The masculine and the feminine energy. The doctor medical place, I think, is dominated by a lot of masculine energy in the way that they deal with things. But the feminine energy is almost like allowing yourself to be nurtured. And not a lot of people are willing to feel that. And I'm sure a lot of people have blocks to those sort of things, which is a lot of the problems that we have today is they aren't in alignment with their true energy. And so you have to be able to feel both sides of the coin because you are both sides of the coin. And you have to heal your energy just as much as you heal your body. Because if your energy is like this dark ball of waste, you don't want to keep holding on tight to that. You
Mm.
want to let yourself release it into the earth,
Oh,
away
I
from
love.
you.
Yes. You ever heard of that like study where the importance of touch for babies? And there was some sort of study that was saying that an infant can pass away. They can have food, they can have rest, but if they don't have that physical touch or that physical, and that just shows the power and the healing of love and tenderness. And that's immediately what came to mind when you were sharing that, Ashton, of like the importance. And think about when you're in a hospital, how sterile and cold it is, and
Mhm.
you just feel like you wanna get out. It feels like a prison, I'm sorry to say, but it just doesn't feel like the space you want to heal, genuinely heal. So, I love that perspective, Ashton, and also it makes you wonder, like, how can we start changing the thought around what healing actually looks like, as opposed to, "Let's get these certain blood numbers up," or, "Let's fuse this bone together." Like, what else does that entail other than just the medications or things?
I agree. When I've had anybody that I love that's been in the hospital, I bring them a super, like, comfortable blanket from home
Mhm.
so they feel like they're being snuggled, right, by something from home, a real
Yep.
blanket. Because 'cause let's be real, hospitals don't have real blankets, and I bring a diffuser with some germ killing oils, but also that uplifts the environment, and then I bring them some meals that I know the staff can keep in a refrigerator and warm up for them so that they're nourishing meals because another thing that hospitals don't do is provide actual food of health. It's all
Mhm.
crap that just induce more illness. And so if you're in that environment, I have definitely tried to help influence health in that sense. But Ashton, what inspires you to stay focused on your health?
Well, hold on. Sandra asked me a question first,
I missed it. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but I got a little bit derailed.
Go
You're
for it.
asking me, Sandra, do you remember specifically? You started with talking about the touch from babies and keeping them alive and the balance of
Mhm.
importance of like both energies and physical touch. And then you're asking
I
about what does health look like?
Yeah, like how can we like change the landscape, right? Of approaching health. Like what you said really
Yeah.
impacted me, of thinking of like, what does that look like? It's not just taking the medication. Okay, maybe you do. Maybe you have to take the antibiotics because of whatever. But what else can you do? Because there are some negative outcomes of taking antibiotics or being in that system,
Anything.
right? So, how do you support that other part of it that you were just mentioning, the love and the support? It was like a rhetorical question of just like, what can we do now? Like, what are some ways that we can empower ourselves to change the way that we approach healing and health?
Think your environment is very important as well as just like how we're talking about your mind body, like your
Mhm.
external and internal environment, right?
Mm.
If you live in that hospital, you're going to have the frequency of that hospital, and
Yes.
nobody wants that. In all buildings in America, for example, because it could be different in other countries in Europe and all these places, we basically have like only corporatized, profit driven buildings. They're built with the least quality to the most minimum standards to pass the law, and they're not fostering a healthy environment. But if we had places that truly devoted themselves to healing, right? A lot
Mm,
of doctors and stuff are like like it was said earlier, they're just people, right? Some people are there to get their paycheck. Some people are not there to heal you, to help you heal. They have their own healing to do and they can't even let alone heal somebody else.
amen.
But we need a place, and this is to like any and all people truly, like we need a new way of creating hospitals, of places of health, of the approach we take, like the food. that they offer you should be whole foods tailored to your necessities
Yes.
and everything, cooked properly, because food is one of the magic works that we've been using for the past bajillion years since humans were alive. And
Yes.
they carry an energy just as much as your clothes and just as much as you do.
Oh, I have to ask you, Ashton, what does this place of health look like? I want to know the vision. I want to know what will be in this place of health. What would it look like? What I have my thoughts, but I'd love to hear yours and I'll
Yeah.
share mine.
I have my own ideas, but it really involves nature. Like
Yes.
wood, freaking everything's gonna be made of wood. No plastic. Well, I'm not gonna say everything because you need metal and
Of
other things,
course.
but a lot of trees. I would love for it to be completely incorporated with nature.
Mm,
You see some little like building, and then on top of it, it's got a bit like a forest of trees, and everybody's got their own little like area to go out into nature in their own room. And it's like a blend of how you would want your nursing homes, how you would want like people who are elderly and need to be taken care of, and how you'd want health all kind like combined into the same place is homey, but not like your home, like
mhm.
a home you would want to be in to get away, to recenter yourself. Like a lot of people go on retreats to special places, but a hospital should be a retreat in a sense. Also, we need to change everything that not doctors, hospitals use, right? Why do we use these specific fibers in all of these blankets and in the clothing? And it's all very orchestrated on purpose beyond our knowledge because they don't teach those things. They want to keep you in that low frequency state.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's all.
Fashion frequency, right? The sheets, the blankets, the gowns they put you on, everything should have those uplifting, even the
Yes.
sounds, they could be playing rife frequencies in the rooms, all sorts of things like that. So I
Listen.
think Ashton's going to be the future of medicine here. He can just design them up and change everything.
Oh, I see saunas, see, like, as you talked about,
Right.
like, the music, the type of materials that you're wearing. I just, I see vibration plates. I see,
Mm.
just red light there. I just see all the things. And I
Oh,
love that comparison, Ashton. Like, when I've done retreats, I have come back as a new woman. Like,
true.
I have come out of it feeling like I have just been charged up for the last weekend and I can take on the universe. Like, I just feel so empowered, so refreshed, so clear and strengthened. And then compare that to when you come out of a hospital, a place of healing
Mhm.
where you go in and you come out and you just feel sometimes weaker, sometimes just energetically depleted.
Mm.
I'm telling you, whenever I'm in a hospital, I cannot wait to get out. My blood pressure rises. I
Yeah.
just get very anxious and it shouldn't be that way when I'm seeking help and I'm in my most vulnerable space. I want,
Yeah.
the care and the love and the support, but I know that's not how it's designed.
Yeah, because you leave hopeless and feeling like you don't have direction or clear answers, and then a
No,
ton of new doctors that you have to reach out to for follow ups, and you still don't know what's going on. So,
sure.
yeah, that definitely is not a sign of health. Oh my gosh.
And not to point any fingers to any specific people, but this is prime government efficiency and funding. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we are allowing to happen in a sense. And I think a lot of people get over the fact, don't comprehend the fact that if we want change as well, we have to collectively be on the same page, right? A lot of people are divided on these topics, but to change our world for the better, we have to have a collective view of what that looks like as well, like
Yeah.
health.
This may be a stupid question, but like, I totally agree with what you're saying, but say if I wanted to do something right now to help change this government style health, is there anything I can do? I mean,
Yeah,
other
so
than
what
just thinking it? I don't know.
you have it all starts with a thought.
Uh-huh.
Any physical thing, right? It all starts with a thought. But you're also one person. You're not the army.
Okay.
So referring back to what I said, we all need to be on a collective the same page. The best thing you could do is go talk to somebody about it. See how you can agree with on this opinion. Is this a valid opinion? Is this something our world should be looking like? And maybe you can't validate that on one person's opinion, but also spreading the knowledge. Maybe that person talks to the next person. And then if you can get enough people to talk to each other about it, more people will start asking why. And eventually, you just talking about it will lead to you finding somebody to vote for that's gonna help this, right? Like, or maybe you send a letter to your legislative team in your city, state, country, and talking with people who even are in the business. Like, maybe you want to talk with about health with doctors or something,
Mhm.
or maybe you want to talk about schools with the school board of the government or teachers, just teachers. Like teachers deserve their own opinion. And there's a lot of teachers that I don't know. Maybe you should
Yeah.
talk to the principals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would say there's some more thought that I think could go into this as far as like, because there's a lot of privatized healthcare that will set up
Mhm.
these special facilities and do things like that. But you have to have a lot of money and a lot of out of pocket money to experience those. But you're looking to create this type of wellness care for everybody. So it's really got my brain thinking, you know, who would we talk to?
Yeah. The thing that I'm doing individually, I'm one person, but just the choices that I'm making in the sense of, I see private doctors that don't align with insurance companies because as we know, when you go down the insurance, trap, it's you have to do these things in order to get this
Mhm.
done and subject yourself to these things before you. So, I see doctors who are not necessarily, in that system. It's all out of pocket, of course. You have to pay for that. But they also have a vision. They will, my doctor will do any blood work that I ask for, and he doesn't have to wait on anyone. And
Mhm.
he collaborates with me on my concerns as opposed to, oh, well, you have a headache and you feel a little dizzy. Well, it must be this, that, and the other. And I'll come to the table of, hey, can we look into this? Can we test this? And it feels very empowering when you're
Mhm.
aligned with your doctor and have that. So there are practicing folks out there who are really working on that same perspective or vision of coming out of the typical medical experience, right? And they're in across the country, right? It's just looking into that and really seeing, what their ideals are and how they practice medicine. And I think that's the way I handle my own health that way. And I encourage others to look into that too.
I feel like as we've migrated to technology, we've also lost a lot of ways to talk to people. Previously, we had places you could go purely for discussion,
Hmm.
like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember the specific name, but and it's how did any revolution start? I know that's a big example, but a lot of people had to talk to each other. They didn't have Facebook groups to join to spam rhetoric that only shows their opinion. You should talk about this and conversate and create good community and the same vision because it's like the collective consciousness as we can't all the first law of the universe is the one like we are the one the oneness. And how are we going to change when there's so many people who aren't on the same page is more people have to evolve to there is better. We need to create the change, but without any thinkers, there's not no change to be done. We'll
Yeah.
have only the people in charge doing anything. And you don't want just that, right? Not everybody in charge should be in charge and question everything. And the utopia that we can live in is possible. And a lot of people want you to believe it's not, but not everything has to be like this terrible one-sided capitalism. There is a y- capitalist utopia out there.
Mhm.
Well, you're 18, which is so impressive, right? To have such expansive thinking and wisdom on so many things. It's super rare that or in my opinion, it's super rare that
Yeah.
anyone at 18 would have any of the thoughts that you've expressed. Are you looking to build a community in your local area? Are you trying to start something up so that you can build a conversation place, even if it's just starting with one person or over an action? I know we've had Patrick, which was a grounded guy, that joined us, and he talked about how he had been, had like this call to do more like guy community events to just talk, to have real talk, even if they're playing paintball or cornhole or mountain biking or whatever, but just real talk conversation. And after he joined us with the episode, he started implementing it. And I can't wait to have him back to tell us all about it. But is that something that you're considering?
I'm sure my life will be divinely orchestrated in such a way that that'll come around. But
Hmm.
currently, I am not in a position to work on everything that I'm going to achieve in this life
Hmm.
because that's a stage and I know that that will be a magnetized to me 1,000 times stronger when I'm in the right place to do
Yeah.
so. But currently, I need to hold the idea and not let that go.
Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's such deep wisdom because I think, there's this like you had talked about it earlier, Ashton, about like the go, go, go and the rush and all of that. And I love the orchestrating of it, right? Like the right time is gonna kind of manifest all the things that you feel that are bubbling up inside, right? And having that energy of allowing it to come, I think is so smart and wise for sure.
And that's not to say that you think every thought and it's like, oh, wow, that's so beautiful, right? But they're put into your brain for a reason. And without action, you can achieve nothing. But being realistic about what's right and wrong for you, I think is very important. It's like your mental and physical risk management. Like,
Mhm.
I need to not put myself in that situation because dang, it could bankrupt the whole family. Or maybe you need to be in a position that is going to be able to bankrupt your whole family because truly you need to that wake up call, but you're going to complete it anyway and you're going to do it and you're going to change your outcome. But that there's one situation that doesn't work for somebody works for a different person, but you have to evaluate that in your own life and allow the thoughts that have been given to you to ruminate in a good way, like
Mhm.
dream about them or something, think about them, feel if that is something aligned to you is a word for it, but not everybody understands that. But more so feels right to you. Like, does that seem like a world you would want to live in? Does that make your heart feel on earth? Like, is that your earth or is
Mhm.
that somebody else's earth you're living in?
Yes. Independent thinking sometimes because it's easy to just kind of fall into the collective thoughts of others, right? And,
Yeah.
because, I've kind of been on this journey, and I was sharing with Jennifer too that I'm like, I've just been more honest lately, like just sharing my truth more or sharing my opinion more as opposed to, oh, I don't necessarily want to ruffle feathers or hurt feelings or, and that goes with anything with health and your views and all of those different pieces. So that honesty of self, I think is really important. So,
Yeah, bringing your true feeling thought is something I've noticed collectively is happening. Like noticed from even like the internet, right?
mhm,
People are shifting into their realism, but
mhm,
miscommunication will happen, but you can't let one mess up blow everything out. Like one big loss can't be your whole life gone. Can't be your whole dollar pocket blown out the water. So evaluate your conversations as well.
yeah.
And finding diplomatic ways to deliver it as well.
Exactly.
That's always that's also the tricky part. So,
Yeah.
Ashton, thinking about your health journey, thinking about all the things that we've talked about, are there, 2 or 3 actionable items that you would recommend folks who are on their health journey? Things that you would recommend or something other than, yes, you can go to your doctor and follow their recommendations and we're not saying that you shouldn't. But is there anything that is something that, we can do now to help us through our health journeys?
The best things in life are free. So definitely go sit in some grass, not sprayed by pesticides.
Yeah.
True.
Go sit by a tree. Absorb the sun on the skin that hasn't seen the light of day in the past 10 years. Go
Wait, before let's stop with the tree and the grass. Why is that important?
the sun is like the ultimate life giver, and you need that energy externally and internally. And it's important for your mental health, your physical health, like literally vitamin D and sun exposure chemically and neurologically is so impactful to your brain. In the morning, at specific times, all the times of the day, the sunset, like red light therapy is based on certain types of UV rays, right?
Yeah.
And you need the sun, you need some grounding, you need water, you need trace minerals. So maybe find some types of salt, maybe not just sea salt, specialty salt is good. I mean, not everybody can do that right now, but some
Mhm.
people can. Lemons in your water, get some what is the
The
word
electrolytes.
specifically? Electrolytes is the word, but your body's basically like an electrical system that is
Mm,
going all at once. And
I
without
see.
electrolytes, you have your electricity is turned off. You're dead.
Okay.
You need those just as much, and you don't want too much salt or whatever, right? Especially for certain people. And trying to focus on eating whole foods is really important.
mhm.
And whole foods can also confuse some people because processed comes in a many different shapes and forms. Some people argue, processing is you slice an apple one time and that
Pro
apple is now processed. But that apple is inherently a whole food. You're not eating applesauce. You're not eating an ingredient mashup list from them. Like, you want to feed your body the best that you can have access to. So maybe eat some tomatoes on toast. I know that's a really terrible, bland example, but you can make that better, right? There's so many recipes out there and little things like, and surely you can't avoid every single processed food, like you eat some mayonnaise. And surely that's not good, but in permanent amounts. But if that goes with your whole foods, is that if that's how you get your whole foods, that's
But if you
helps.
think about it, right, mayonnaise, a really clean source, or even if you made your own, it's an egg and some olive oil and a little bit of lemon, sometimes even a dash of mustard. So it's pretty basic, you know? And I think that you might not just be eating fruits, vegetables, and straight meats, but I think you're alluding to be as clean and whole as possible. Item has ingredients on it. Make sure it's everything that you would have individually on your pantry shelf,
And
not
do you know
something
how to
weird.
pronounce those words?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you know what they mean? Have you ever seen that word before? If you haven't,
exactly.
search it up.
Mhm.
Ask
Mhm.
an AI, give it a simple summary. You don't have to be a scientist to know
Yep.
what these words mean. And
Yep.
it's definitely important to know what these words mean because they are hiding a lot of things in plain sight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they are programming us to not want to read, to not want to ask questions,
True.
because then they can do this stuff 10 times easier without any pushback, without any backlash. And that
So what do
Abby's
you
health
think
sanctuary.
inspires you at this age to take your health so seriously?
I personally enjoy food, so that is an easy way of health for me. But
Mhm.
nobody wants to be unhealthy. So it's serious to me because I need my body for this life.
Mhm.
If you're going to achieve that big goal, you also have to be able to survive that goal to get to that goal and function. It's one about feeling good. I don't want to feel not good. I don't want to feel like a chronic sitter in like when I stand up, it's like, ah, my freaking psoas muscle is so tight. It's in the
Mhm.
shape of an L and I don't know how to stretch. But yoga is something you can find for free. If you can watch a podcast, you can find a YouTube video about yoga.
Yep.
You can do that outside in nature while you get your sunshine, and boom, you get 20 minutes of doing all three things suggested out of the way.
And it's all free.
It's all free. Moving your body is important because if you don't move, your body forgets that it's purposeful, right? You de-evolve.
Mm.
If you don't do anything, what's the point in having it? We have evolved to getting to the point where we are today by using our hands, our muscles, because they're important.
Mhm.
But if we purely sit all day, what are we gonna evolve to?
Mm.
We don't know. Hobbits? And I'm not saying hobbits are bad, but
They're cute, right?
I don't wanna like my spine is important to me.
Yeah, yeah,
I value every bone in my body because it keeps me going. And to just do something simple, like do some squats, learn to do it in a good form, right? You could do a lot of things for free, but you could try some yoga. It's all very similar. Do some simple movement. Movement is also how you get circulation, right?
Mhm.
Those vibration plates are so great, but they're just mimicking what? Movement.
yeah.
So go for a walk. If you really, your calf muscles are going to need it, your back's going to need it. It's important to do both,
Mhm.
rest and move
Well, I have to
and
say,
hydrate.
He has lived this mantra, this mindset, this intention through and through since he was a very young child. As soon as he could sit in one of those supporting baby chairs, I
Mhm.
literally had him on the kitchen counter with me from the very beginning, having him taste everything that was in the kitchen. And he has this exquisite palate, and the food he cooks blows me away. But it's so funny because remember, Sandra, back in the day when we used to do pottery class at school and we would bring our parents a handmade ashtray?
Yes.
Ashton, it was really a thing. We would handcraft this ashtray for our
Yep.
parents because we were, so creative and we wanted to give them something that they would use.
Mhm.
Well, I to this day still have the pottery that Ashton brought home from, I don't remember if it was preschool or elementary, but we always have had little cups, kind of like ramekins
Yep.
around the house, and that we would always set everybody's vitamins out in it in the morning, and then you would just take your vitamin cup. Well, he handcrafted a pottery vitamin cup as a
Mm.
kid. It's the best because when I look at
I did not
that,
know that.
oh yes, I have it, and but it's such it's like a trophy for me
Mhm.
because it reminds me that I was able to break some type of cycle, a bad cycle of non-health in my life. And that one vitamin cup makes me proud and
Oh,
makes me go,
yes.
I want to keep going. I want to keep making the right choices and being intentional because your kids are watching.
Mhm.
And Ashton, you know, he inspires me all of the time. I mean, I love food too, but I've always cooked according to what other people are craving around me, right? Oh, my husband wants heavy fats and high protein and all of these things. Well, I'm cooking that, but I'm not looking at like the nutritional purposes on everything and watching Ashton take control of his own health and how he leads in his culinary adventures with health in mind first has changed the way I think about what
Mm.
I'm even doing for myself. And honestly, like the changes he's inspired in me, even over in the last 6 months, I have seen the most improvement I have ever had. So, you know, he went from being this little kid sitting in the grocery cart asking me at every single thing I would put in the grocery. He'd go, "Does that have hydrogenated oils in it?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit, he's never coming in the grocery store with me again. I can't get in and out."
Yes.
But he lives this
Mm.
through and through.
'Cause if you
Amazing.
don't, nobody's doing it for you
100% Ashton. You gotta be responsible and take charge of your own health and your own life. And
in your own life.
for people, it means different things. So you brought so many things to the conversation. And yeah, I'm still like thinking about that place of health and what that creation would look like. It's just so
Being
many
on your own
Yeah.
wonderful.
team, right?
It's
Yeah.
important because you keep that idea in your mind, and it's sending that energy in the universe, and more people are gonna receive that, like, divinely. Like, more people are gonna start thinking about these things,
Yeah.
and it makes no sense in the physical state of mind, but allow these energies from your thoughts to be
Eminent.
collective, because
Yeah.
we need those things. We need those places, and
Yes. I
we are
want to
gonna
go to one of
take
those
charge
places.
of all of
Yeah.
our lives.
Well, Sandra often talks about vision boards, and we've done vision health boards for the new year 2026. Do you have, Ashton, any particular targeted health goal for the upcoming year?
I mean, maintaining health is always a goal, right?
Uh-huh.
So I guess it's always to become less sedentary, right? More moving, more in the gym, more walks. Even if it's not like I should go on a walk just 'cause. Maybe it's like I wanna walk, right? Like, do I ever just go on walks out of my free will? Not all the time, not frequently. Sometimes I have to like reward myself to go on a freaking walk, but like it shouldn't be that way. I should want to walk. We're meant
But
to
you got to
walk. We're
start
meant to
somewhere, though,
run.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You have to coerce yourself at first, change your neural pathways, and one day you'll be walking just because you need to take a walk, and that's your safe place or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, just getting out more,
Yes.
being more flexible, maybe stronger, healing my skin, being in the sun.
Hmm.
So not being as flexible as a bowling ball is your goal.
Be
I
I
know,
know.
I
flexible.
know. I tease because your
Oh,
dad is as flexible as a bowling ball, man. He stretches a little bit, he's for sure popping something.
Uh,
He's all about that strength training. So we can all learn something and be inspired by Ashton's wisdom and details on things. We could talk to you for absolutely forever about the details of why we should all be hugging a tree and walking around in non sprayed pesticide grass barefoot.
Yes. And
I
changing your
s
thoughts and,
yeah.
making sure you're not, clobbering yourself after having a negative thought. So that's my lesson that I have to take away today. And the frequency of your thoughts, right? Like, I
Mm,
love the fact that you can attract similar by just what you're thinking.
I really still suggest Brian Withers. You know, a lot of people are gonna go to his content and think, "What is he saying? Is he saying something that, like, doesn't exist? Is this mind programming?" But in a sense, you're always programming your mind.
mm,
Yes.
So you're divine he basically preaches divine infinite abundance, but
mm,
you're the gate separating you from infinite abundance and whatever you think you feel you deserve to have
Mm,
or whatever you're safe to have and hold.
mm. Yeah, I haven't heard him before.
me
He's not
neither.
very popular, but he is an empowerment coach.
Hmm.
Okay.
Brian
Brian
Withers.
Withers. Yeah, we'll look him up. I listen to a lot of stuff from Gabby Bernstein. I'm sure you've probably heard some of her stuff. I think we've listened to it together, which I think she gives a lot of great examples of how to get through stuff, right, to the successful side. But Brian Withers, I'm going to look him up.
Me too.
Yeah,
Mm,
and it's all a process, like, just like as we said earlier, you're just one person, you can't do everything in one day, so it's consistent effort, and even when you feel stuck, those are the biggest learning moments,
mm.
Right.
even if they don't feel like it.
Wisdom from the youth. If this doesn't give you hope about future generations, I hope that other young folks Ashton's age are just as inspired to change healthcare into wellness care, to feel like a
Oh,
retreat, to feel like things are rejuvenating you and empowering you to take control of your health and be intentional of your mindset, your environment, and your body. Appreciate every bone in your body, just like Ashton says.
yes, that's right. Thank you for speaking with us, Ashton.
We
Thank
would
you.
love to have you on again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'll definitely come prepared with more information, maybe more factual information. Yeah, I just hope that
Ashton,
more people appreciate knowledge like this.
Mhm.
yes, as I said, just, I just love listening to you talk, as I said, and it's just sitting around and having this conversation. There are a few takeaways that I'm taking back with me today.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was really just an informative chat today. So thank you.
Small changes create big effects.
That's going to be my mantra. I have to put that somewhere.
Well, I have to say, Ashton's middle school teacher, she wrote a speech, and I'll say this before we go, but um, she wrote a speech, a short one for each eighth grade student once they were graduating. And I have replayed her speech about him so many times because I felt like she nailed him in this speech about his entire life. And she would pair a child's book with each student to go with her speech and story and have all the teachers sign it. And she picked The Tortoise and the Hare for Ashton. And as you can tell, right, everybody speaks at a different pace and thought process and things like that. And she picked The Tortoise and the Hare for Ashton because she said, he is comfortable going at his own pace. And she can see him solving the world's biggest problems, but also having the confidence to say, I don't know. I'm going to have
Mm,
to research that, or I'm going to have to look into that and learn more. And which she said gave her the confidence to say, I don't know that right
yeah.
now, right? Because you don't have to know everything, or you don't have to do everything right now. Just kind of like what Ashton said, hold on to it and let it connect with you in that divine timing as to when it's meant to be for you. And the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise always gets there. He typically is the winner right? Because he was paced and methodical and intentional. And he wasn't worried about what everybody else was doing. And he wasn't worried about what everybody else was saying. And he was just steady, consistent, working on his goals one small step at a time to reach success. And I think that is a fabulous example of describing Ashton. And we are so, so grateful to have you, our tortoise, on the podcast today. Thank you, Ashton.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it for today's shift. Thank you so much for sharing this space with us. If you're loving the conversation, become a shifty. Like, follow, subscribe, and most of all, share this episode with someone who's shifting too, or someone who seriously needs to get their shift together.
Do you have thoughts, questions, topic requests, or maybe you're feeling the nudge to collaborate? Visit us at shiftsisterpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're so grateful for your presence, your friendship, and your willingness to do the work with us. Because shift happens and we're not meant to do it alone.
We'll meet you back here next time to breathe, reflect, and talk shift.